And most of the, let's say, the older cities in Europe especially are shaped by these food lines that coming in and out of the city. She has also one of these TED lectures, and she explains the whole thing in 15 minutes. So if you don't want to read the book, you can do that. So it's shaped by food, but on the other hand, it is also fully dependent on food, on its food supply actually. And this food supply is completely external. There is hardly any food produced in the city. It is all produced outside of the city. And let's say in the Middle Ages, this was directly outside of the city, let's say, within walking distance. But nowadays, it's become completely globalized, especially if you are living in places like in the Netherlands. Food is coming from everywhere and going to everywhere. So this city is, in that sense, fully dependent on let's say, the rural areas. And in that sense, nowadays you've heard a lot about people talking about sustainability days. The great hope is the city. So the city is more sustainable than anything else, but that's rubbish, of course. There's no this distance of the city and the rural areas is completely nonsense, because we are fully dependent for food, and not only for food but also for water. Potable water is not produced in cities but outside, and even in the Netherlands we cannot do without the rural areas. So it is part of a complete system, and in this case the city is not sustainable in itself at all. It will die out even if food supply is stopped in a city like Rotterdam, then within 2 days there's no food in the shops anymore. So it would die out in 2 days. A natural disaster, which is not going to happen in the Netherlands that easily, but a natural disaster that would stop let's say, the production or the infrastructure, kill the roads, then in 2 days we would be hungry. And in 1 week we would be very hungry. So, and besides that, this production and consumption distance is increasing. Nowadays, Holland is one of the food exporting countries in the world, but actually most of our food we eat, or even our vegetables, are not produced in the Netherlands at all. We eat the beets from Egypt, and we produce tomatoes for Germany. And much wider distances too. And this whole supply chain is becoming more and more, let's say, complex and unsustainable in the long run. If only for the oil, that is, not only do you need a lot of oil to produce food, but now we also need a lot of oil, let's say, to transport it all over the world in order to get it inside the supermarkets. So there's all kinds of reasons to be concerned, and maybe you could even say that forget global warming, actually food and water are the main problems we are facing, and not even oil. But does urban farming solve these problems? Now, probably, I would say certainly not. So what does it do? Like say in the project that you will see later on, the main aim, you could say, is to create an awareness of the issues about sustainability issues, and especially about food production and the city. It is also, for some city dwellers, they, although I can hardly imagine it myself, but it seems to be that there are children who do not know that that some vegetables grow on plants. So in order just to create an awareness how food is being produced, it is also a good idea to just have that in your neighborhoods. Especially in the Netherlands, most of these, let's say, initiatives are more about social bonding and creating a better spaces for people to live in, and especially meet your neighbors. And it is also a great way to use these small kinds of lots that are being left over spaces, waiting for development, left over in small time slots, also maybe for 2 or 3 years, and use it. And growing a garden is cheap, so it is a good way to, let's say, give it at least some program to this.